Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Welcome to the video. Today in this video we are going to be finally finishing off our series where we go through the entire Islamic prayer in Arabic word by word and vowel by vowel. So if this is the first time that you're coming across this channel, then I want you to know that there is a playlist where we've started from the beginning of the prayer and we've gone through the entire thing up until this point, word by word, vowel by vowel in the Arabic language, so that you as a revert or someone who is new to Islam or new to practicing can learn how to perfectly pronounce the prayer. As I mentioned in all of my videos, it is very important that you actually take the time to learn how to read the Arabic language. In this video series, we're not actually doing that. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get ourselves started. So we're going through the prayer word by word, vowel by vowel, but you won't actually learn how to read the Arabic language. And without doing that, it is going to be difficult for you to be able to pronounce everything perfectly. So if you are looking to learn how to read the Arabic language and learn how to read the Quran, then you can go ahead and click on the link in the description or in the comments and you can book an appointment with me and we can set a plan together as to how you can go about doing that. So let's go ahead and get to work and finish off this playlist so that we know how to pronounce the entire prayer from the beginning to the end in the Arabic language. So this is what we're going to be learning how to say today. So I want you to go ahead and just pause the screen if you need to, if you don't know what it means in English, so that you can have a read over that, because it's important that you know that too. So now that we've had a look at the English and the meaning, let's go ahead and look at each of these words and figure out how to pronounce them. When we're looking at the Arabic, we're reading from right to left. I've written a transliteration here for you. This transliteration is just my best attempt at trying to convey what all these letters and symbols are actually trying to say in the Arabic language. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid. Okay, so let's look at the first word here, which is Allahumma. Okay, so we're saying Allahumma. Allah, Allahumma, Allahumma. So having a look at the Arabic word here for Allahumma, we have, as we've looked at previous videos, this symbol, and that makes us try to double the letter essentially. So what we're saying is Allah, Allahumma, Allahumma, Allah, Allahumma, Allahumma. As we've said in previous videos as well, when we're pronouncing Allah, in this case we're going to say Allah. So we're not saying La. So we're not going to say Allah, Allahumma. We say Allahumma. So you're saying an ah sound. Allah. Okay? Allahumma. So this symbol here is telling us to pronounce the M sound twice. The first like this, hum ma, hum ma. So we say hum. Okay, so you hold on to the letter. So that's why we've written it with two M's. Okay, so we say Allahumma, Allahumma, Allahumma. Okay, so we've got that. The next word we're going to say is Salli. Salli. Okay, so I've put this S in a capital letter because we're not saying sa, sa. When you say sa like this, your tongue is near the front of your teeth. Sa. What we're doing here is we're kind of flattening out the tongue and putting it on the roof of our mouth and saying saw, saw. So instead of sa, we say saw. Okay, saw. And then we have the two L's here, as indicated by this symbol. Okay, so we're saying Salli, 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 Salli. Okay, Salli. So we're saying Allahumma Salli, Salli, Allahumma Salli. And then we have Ala, Ala, Ala. So we've looked at this letter quite a few times in previous videos. This doesn't sound like a. So we're not saying here ala, ala. Okay, we're not going to say it like that. We're going to try to make this sound ala. So it is a difficult sound, but we're going to try our best to not make the a sound. Okay, so we're not going to say ala, we say ala, okay, ala, ala, and we put two A's here because we're extending the A sound. So when we say a, la, so I put these two A's in like a lowercase because I want you to understand that the first one is a, a. These ones, they're just a normal like a sound, like if you're going to say the word apple, for example. So you're saying a, la, la, ala. Okay, so we're going to go Allahumma salli ala, and then we have Muhammad, Muhammad, which is this here, okay? So when we say this H sound in Muhammad, it sounds like this. So we're saying Muhammad, Muhammad. So mu, ha. And then we've got two M sounds here. So we're saying again, Hammad, Hammad, Muhammad. Now when it comes to saying the name of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we say mu, okay? Not mo. Okay, so this is very common for whatever reason we say in England and in America, we say mo, okay? We're not going to pronounce it like that. This is not the Arabic way of pronouncing it, okay? So we say mu, Muhammad, and it's mad, not med, okay? So it's not written with an E. So if we're looking at just strictly how the Arabic would be pronounced, we're looking at Muhammad, ad, okay? So we're going to specifically be saying ad, ad, not ed. So we're not saying Mohammed, okay? We're saying Muhammad, Muhammad, okay? So I hope that's clear. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. So we had this before. Ala is the same here. Ala, okay? And I'm going to go through this first part here in more detail because the next part is almost exactly the same, just a couple words are different. So we'll go through this one in more detail, okay? And then when we go through the next one, we can go a bit quicker because we're just looking at a few different words, okay? So again, we have ala, ala, and we've looked at in previous videos just wa. So we're saying, which is very easy to say. So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Okay, so this word, we pronounce it the same. They're the same here as well. Okay, and then we have ali. Okay, so I really want you to pay attention to this. We have this word in Arabic, ala, ala. Okay, and then we have ali, ali. Okay, these are generally pronounced, especially by reverts or people that don't know how to read Arabic. They would make mistakes. This means here upon. Okay, this word here means like the family of. So let's have a look at that real quick. Okay, so what we're saying is wa ala ali, ali Muhammad. Okay, kama sallaita ala ali. Okay, so when we're saying ali is different from ala. Okay, so we want to be really specific and not make this mistake, because I can guarantee that a lot of reverts will just say these words, basically they sound exactly the same, and then they're messing up the meaning of what they're trying to say. So that's why it's really important that we want to concentrate on this, because generally what people will do is the first time they learn how to do the prayer, they'll just say, okay, I know the prayer now, and they won't look at it again for years. So they'll be saying things wrong for years and years and years, and perhaps they will never realize that they're pronouncing it wrong. So let's be really, really concentrated on what we're trying to say the first time round so that we get it right. Obviously, once you learn to read Arabic, you should definitely come back and visit it again, just to make sure that you're not making any further mistakes that you didn't pick up on, okay? So I'm really going to go and be specific on these two words here, okay? So we've talked about ala. We started the word with We've done that before, yeah? Now we're saying ali, ali. So now we're saying ah, not ah. Okay? So this word should be easier for you to say in English. You're saying ali, ali. Okay? So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali wa ala ali. Okay? Try to concentrate on that and be specific the way you say it so that you're not changing the meaning. Okay? Muhammad. So we've said that before. Muhammad. So here we go. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. That's the first line. Okay? We've said this. Then we're going to say here kama, kama, kama. Okay? Kama. And then we have صليت 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 صليت. Okay, so again this saw sound, saw, not sa. So don't say kama sallaita. That's where you're putting your tongue more towards the front of your mouth and you're making it like a sharper sound like this. Sa. You want to say saw, and so just try your best to do that. So we're saying صليت. We have a doubling of the L sound, okay? صليت صليت كما صليت. And then we have this word which means on or upon in this case. على. And don't forget that we've written two A's here, okay? So they were saying a. So we're saying ala, ala Ibrahim, Ibrahim. So again, when we're doing two letters here, so we're saying Ibra, we're extending that A sound a little bit. Ibrahim, Ibrahim, Ibrahim. Ala Ibrahim. This is this word here. Okay? So this is the Arabic name of the Prophet Abraham. Ibrahim. Okay? So we've said now كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. Okay? So these two sentences here, the same. وعلى آل. It's just instead of saying Muhammad, we're saying Ibrahim, and upon the family of Ibrahim. So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ali Ibrahim. So now let's just finish it off with innaka hamidun majid. So innaka. So in na ka. Innaka. And then we have ha mi dun. Hamidun. Hamidun. Again, with this H sound here, we're making that sound. So we're saying ha, okay? Hamidun. Again, with two E's. So we're saying me. It extends a little bit longer than just saying me. You're saying me. Hamidun. Okay? Innaka Hamidun. And then Majid. So Majid. So with these E's, we're just extending that vowel a little bit longer. So instead of saying here Hamidun, Hamidun. You're saying Hamidun. Listen to the E sound. Hamidun. Innaka Hamidun. Okay? And then when we say Majid, so again the E sound is longer. Majid. Okay? Innaka Hamidun Majid. Okay, so let's go over this again. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali. Okay, just listen to how you say it. Ala ali. Ala ali. So be specific with that, okay? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. So now let's look at the next part. So what we're going to say now is Allahumma barik. So what did we say before? Allahumma salli. So what's different here? Okay, this word. Okay, that's it. Just these two words. So before we said Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So here we're saying Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. So it's exactly the same as the previous apart from this one word. Kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. I only need to explain to you how to say these two words and then you already know how to say everything else because we've covered that on the previous slide. So we have Allahumma, the word here is different, barik, okay? So here, barik, So that should be pretty easy for you to say because you don't have any like special letters that you wouldn't be able to say in English, okay? So it's just barik. Just extend the a sound that little bit longer. So we're not saying barik. We want to say barik. Okay? So now that we know how to say that, we can say Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama, and then we're going to say barakta. So we're not saying ra, okay? We're saying raw. So it's like barakta. That's the nice way to pronounce it. Okay, so ba, you extend it by using the two A's here. Okay, barakta. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So you know how to say it now. So we just go through it again. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali. Again, pay attention to this bit. Wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Okay, so let's go over it again. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. So now that we know how to say all of that, we're basically at the end of the prayer. We just want to learn this final supplication where we seek refuge from four things. So what we're saying here, we're saying Allahumma, O Allah, inni, certainly I, a'udhu, seek refuge, bika, with you, from adhabi jahannam, from min adhabi jahannam, from the punishment of the hellfire. وَمِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ, and from the punishment of the grave. وَمِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا, وَمِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا, and the trials, tribulations, the fitna of this world. وَالْمَمَاتِ, okay, and the trials and tribulations of death. وَمِنْ شَرِّ, and from the evil. فِتْنَةِ الْمَسِيحِ الدَّجَّالِ, and from the evil of the trials and the tribulations of the false Messiah, of Ad-Dajjal. Okay, so we're seeking refuge from the hellfire, and from the punishment of the grave, and the trials and tribulations of life and death, and from the evil of the trials and tribulations of the false Messiah. Okay, so let's go through it word by word. We're going to say Allahumma, Allahumma. We've been through that before, because before we said, if you remember, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, and we said Allahumma barik. So this is again, oh Allah, Allahumma. And then we're saying inni, inni, certainly I, inni. So we're saying in, ni, inni. So we don't just say inni, we say inni, inni. So Allahumma inni. And then we're going to say a'udhu, a'udhu. Okay, so we have this letter, which is the same letter when we said before ala, ala, we said a. Okay, so here we're saying but it's the same letter. So if you can find that spot in the bottom of your throat, you're saying So this is going to be quite hard, because here you're saying okay, which is kind of like more like the English apple sound. Okay, for apple. So we're saying here and then we have to find that letter in our throat, and we're going to extend that ooh sound as well. So we're saying a'udhu, a'udhu. Okay, so a'udhu, a'udhu, a'udhu. This is probably one of the most difficult words that we've probably looked at, just because of this particular letter here that we've written in a capital U. Okay, a'udhu. So we're saying Allahumma inni a'udhu, a'udhu. Okay, dhu, and then we say bika, okay, which is here, bika, bika, bika. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min, bika min. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min. And then we have this word adhabi. So we want to pay attention, it's here adhabi, and also here adhabi. Okay, so this is the sound, this word adhabi, adhabi, adhabi. So this part here, the b, that should be pretty easy for you. Just the b. It's just this letter that you have to concentrate on, right? Adhabi, adhabi. Okay, so Allahumma inni, don't forget there's two e's here, okay? So it's inni, you're extending that vowel a little bit. Ni, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabi. And then we're going to say Jahannam, Jahannam, Jahannam. There's two N's here, so we're saying Hannam, Jahannam, Jahannam. Okay, so Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min عذاب جهنم عذاب جهنم. Okay, ومن عذاب. So we said this word before, it was just here, yeah? عذاب. Okay, ومن عذاب القبر القبر. And we looked at before in previous videos, what we're going to do is we're going to merge these two words together. So we're going to say عذاب القبر عذاب القبر. Okay, this Q letter is different from ka. That's very similar to the English letter ka. We're trying to make a heavier sound and it's a bit further back in the throat. So instead of saying ka, we're saying qa. So we're saying qabri. That's quite a difficult letter for English people to say, and I struggle with it too. So I'm not exactly the most perfect person to pronounce this letter. It is a very hard letter for English speakers to pronounce, okay? But just try your best to not say kabri. You're saying qabri, okay? Adhabil qabri. We're just joining these two words together, okay? So that's why we're going to say adhabil qabri. Adhabil qabri. So we're removing this A sound here. So we're saying adhabil qabri. Adhabil qabri. Adhabil qabri. Okay? ومن عذاب القبر اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر. Okay, and last two lines ومن فتنتي. Okay, so that's this word here, and we're joining this word and this word together, so we're removing this letter. So the word is fitnati, and the next word is al-mahya. This H sound, as we've talked about before, mahya, al-mahya. Okay, so wa min fitnati al-mahya. So what are we going to do here? We're joining these two words together. We're removing the A sound. So instead of saying wa min fitnati al-mahya, we're saying wa min fitnatil mahya. Wa min fitnatil mahya. Mahya. So look at the two A's. Ya. Wa min fitnatil mahya. Mahya. Okay? And we're saying now wa al-mamat. Okay? Wa al-mamati. Wa al-mamati. Okay, and in this circumstance we're going to join these two words together, which means we're going to remove, in this particular case, the A sound. So we're going to say wal mamat. Wal mamat. So ma-ma-ti. I'm saying wal mamat. I'm not pronouncing this final E sound, okay? But we can pronounce it. It's just that when you're reading Arabic, a lot of the times when you come to the end of a sentence, you actually just don't pronounce the final vowel, which would be here. So I'm saying, for example, even in this one, وَمِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ. But you could say وَمِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ. I think it's just easier to try and kind of stay consistent and just to either try to pronounce all the final vowels like this one and this one and this one, or to just kind of not pronounce them. So in this case we'll just pronounce it just to be consistent with what we've been doing so far, okay? وَمِن فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا وَالْمَمَاتِ وَالْمَمَاتِ مَمَاتِ اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات. Alright, final line, and now we've finished, inshallah, the entire prayer. So وَمِن sharri, sharri. Okay, sharri. We have again this like shadda, this W looking symbol. So we're gonna have sharri, sharri. So this time when we're pronouncing this R sound, not only are we doubling it, but in this particular case, instead of saying raw, raw, we're saying ri, ri. We're making this R sound a little bit of a lighter sound. It sounds like this, sharri, sharri. So we're saying sharri, sharri. Okay, sharri. Wa min sharri. And then we're saying fitnati. We've looked at this before. Fitnati. Fitnati. Okay? And the final two words. Al-Masihi ad-Dajjali. Okay? So we need to be removing the A here and the A here. So we're saying Fitnatil Masihi. Masihi. This is not the heavy S sound, okay? We just say it like C. So this, like, if you were to just look at this here, this is exactly how you pronounce pretty much the English word to see something, okay? Fitnatil Masihi. Make sure you make this he sound. It's the sound, okay? So we mean fitnatil masihi. And then we have ad-dajjali. Ad-dajjali. So we have two D sounds, two J sounds, okay? Ad-dajjali. Ad-dajjali. Okay, it is pretty tricky. And to make it even more tricky, we're going to be joining this word here and this word. So the way that it's pronounced is going to be like this. Fitnatil Masihi. And in this particular case, we're going straight to the D sound. So we're deleting this altogether. Okay? So it's going to sound like this. Fitnatil Masihid Dajjal. Fitnatil Masihid. Okay? Fitnatil Masihid Dajjali. Fitnatil Masihid Dajjali. I'm going to say it a few times because this is quite hard to kind of grasp. And again, with the fact that we're deleting like some of the sounds that were actually written here, I'm just going to say it a couple of times and I just want you to try to your best to repeat it with me, okay? Fitnatil Masihid Dajjali. Fitnatil Masihid Dajjali. Fitnatil Masihid Dajjali. Okay, I've really tried my best to kind of convey how you're going to pronounce this final part here. If you have any questions or you need me to just go over it again, go ahead and just write them in the comments and I'll try my best to get back to you. If it requires me to go in more detail than this, then I can try my best to do that if somebody actually needs me to do that. So let's go over this final supplication a couple of times, yeah? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabi jahannam wa min adhabil qabri wa min fitnatil mahya wa min fitnatil mahya wal mamat ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال. So I'm going to go over it quicker this time. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال. Okay? Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, we finally finished going through the entire prayer from the beginning to the end, word by word, vowel by vowel. It has been a long journey. It's taken a long time to make and a lot of effort to put in. And I know that you've had to put in a lot more effort if you've been following along with me. So as much effort as I've been trying to put in to make these videos, I know that you've been putting in a lot more effort. And I hope that it's been useful. Inshallah, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. If you do want to book a call with me and you want me to go through this directly word by word with you, then I'm happy to do that. Just go ahead and click on the link in the description. It is for brothers only, so I just thought I'd let you know that. And inshallah, in the future, we might go ahead and make this series again just to see if there's any improvements that we can make. And if you have any comments or suggestions or anything that wasn't clear, write that in the comments and I will try my very best to read it. And if there's something that I need to address to make it easier for you, then I'm happy to do that. Inshallah, I hope you've enjoyed and I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.